You're welcome. I welcome you once again. Thank you so much for staying through day one, day two, day three, day four, and day five. Thank you so much. I feel so honored. I'm so super excited that you have stayed through to this point of time with me. My name is Dr. Ishioma Elora Ona, otherwise known as Dr. Ish, your one and only chief story seller. Yes, and I'm so excited to be taking you on this course, Unlocking the Power of Storytelling. And we are now on day five, attending to the topic being authentic and vulnerable. All right, so we are moving ahead. Now, what does it mean to be authentic and be vulnerable? The heart of a compelling story needs those two crucial factors: being authentic and being vulnerable. So important, because as a storyteller, you have the power to connect with your audience on a deep and meaningful level. Remember, our emphasis is always on connection, deep level, connection, meaningful level. But how do you create a connection that resonates with your audience? The answer lies in being authentic and being vulnerable, being trustworthy. Remember, we're always talking about the chaotic factor. Your audience has to trust you, and the only way they can trust you is when they see or hear or know that you are true to yourself. You are being authentic, you are being your real self, you are saying your truth, you are being vulnerable. And being authentic and being vulnerable are the foundations of a compelling story, allowing you to share your true self, your innermost being with your audience, and to create a lasting impact. Now, authenticity builds trust. When there's no authenticity, there will be no trust. And let me tell you something, there's power in being authentic. When you're authentic, this is the key to building trust with your audience. There is no story you want to tell if people just smell fakeness of you, or smell that you're not being authentic, you're telling lies, you're concocting, they're not going to trust anything you say. So when you are true to yourself and your story, that is when you are being authentic. You're not just trying to be somebody you are not. You're not being pretentious. You're not pretending to have experiences that are not true to you, or experiences you've never even had. So being authentic is about being raw, being honest, being transparent, being accountable. Not that you tell a story today and tomorrow when people ask you a question, you can't even remember what you said yesterday. So you have to be authentic. You have to be trustworthy. People, gaining trust is so difficult these days. And it just takes one simple lie. Oh, well, lie is a lie anyway, but it just takes one mistake to break that bond, that trust. So this is something you need to really be conscious of. When you're telling your stories, you have to be authentic and you have to be vulnerable, because these elements are so crucial in creating deep relationships with your audience, and most importantly, in building trust, because without this you can't convert. And being authentic has several benefits. Number one is it builds trust. It builds trust with your audience, making them more likely to listen to your story and take action. If they don't trust you, they're not going to waste their time to listen to you. So when they listen to you, they will listen to you and therefore take action. It creates connection. Being authentic creates connection with your audience, making them feel like they're a part of your story. It increases credibility. Being authentic increases your credibility, making you more believable and relatable. All right? There's so much power, especially also in being vulnerable. There's power in being authentic, and there's also power in being vulnerable. And I'm going to share, that aspect with you now. And being vulnerable is the act of sharing your true self. Is the act of sharing your true self with your audience. You need to understand that there's a power to being authentic and also the power of being vulnerable. So being vulnerable is the act of sharing your true self with your audience, including your fears, your doubts, and your weaknesses, of course, with certain boundaries. So being vulnerable is about being open, honest, and willing to take risks. Of course, it comes with its own benefits, which are it creates empathy with your audience, making them more likely to understand and relate to your story. It builds connection with your audience, making them feel like they're part of your story, like they know you. And it increases authenticity because it makes you more believable and relatable. Now, how do you share your authentic and vulnerable self with your audience? How do you share it? Well, I will share with you my own tips. Be honest. Be honest about your experiences, your fears, and your doubts. Not everybody is going to like you. Not everybody is going to eventually buy from you. But stand your ground by being honest and being authentic and true to yourself. Don't pretend to be like Dr. Ish. I won't pretend to be like you. Don't pretend to be like anyone. It's not a competition. Don't steal someone else's story and pretend it's yours. No, you will eventually be found out. So be honest, share your story, including your struggles and your success, not just success, 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 success. I mean, balance it. So let them be balanced, not that you're sharing more struggles than success, so that people don't tend to see you as a failure, but balance it out. But people also want to see your struggles. Just let them know that you're a human being as well. You have blood running through your veins. Be open about your vulnerabilities and your weaknesses. Use I statements to share your thoughts and feelings. I am heavy on the I, right? Use I statements to share your thoughts and feelings and practice self compassion. Be kind to yourself as you share your authentic self and the vulnerable side of yourself. Okay? Be kind. Be kind to yourself. It's so, so important. And as usual, we'll also share an example of Rachel, who is a founder of an agency who was having a very serious problem in being authentic and vulnerable with her clients, her audience, right? She had a problem communicating. She always wanted to appear strong, appear like everything was fine. She had a problem letting people know, when there were issues that, trials and tribulations she went through. I mean, she eventually got a certain level of success, but had a problem showing the behind the scenes of the process and stages and the journey she went through before getting to that point of success. But when she started doing that, sharing her own story, uh, there was a 40% increase in sales after sharing her vulnerabilities. So, I mean, that was a massive turn around for her business. Okay. And the benefits of being authentic and vulnerable basically are it increases trust with your audience. They trust you more because they know that you're not telling them lies. You try your best not to get into that. It's pretty messy because it spoils your brand. You'll be labeled a liar, and that's not so good. So it's best to just keep it simple and stick to what actually happened to you. It also creates a deeper connection, with your audience. It increases your credibility. People would vouch for you. That cases where anything would happen, and people say, no, that's not how Dr. Ish behaves. She may have her excesses, but this is who she is. Let your white be white, let your black be black, let your yes be yes, and your no be no. Because I mean, at the end of the day, people determine if they want to do business with you based on your character. So it increases your credibility, makes you more believable, more relatable, and of course, most of all, more human. And moving to our action plan, you share your vulnerabilities, showcase your unique perspective. Don't always act as if everything is always fine. People want to see the real you, not the pretentious you, not the aspect of everything is always fine. Of course, we're not saying become a pessimistic, but just show one or two sides of you showing that I feel your pain. I've been through this thing, and I understand how you feel. That's the part that connects most with people. And of course, be genuine in your storytelling. No lies, no hypocrisy, no fake gist, no pity party. It doesn't really. There's not much to gain when you do that. It only makes people just get irritated and not even want to connect with you at all. Okay, it destroys your brand at the end of the day. So, in conclusion, being authentic and vulnerable is the heart of a compelling story. And by sharing your true self with your audience, you can create a connection that resonates with them on a deep and meaningful level. Remember to be honest, share your story, be open, use I statements, and practice self compassion. The benefits of being authentic and vulnerable, they are numerous. Trust me, I have enjoyed those benefits. And of course, part of it for me has been increased trust with my audience, a deeper connection, increased credibility. They see me as the number one person. You know, if Dr. Ish tells you this is how it is, that is what it is. She's not going to sugarcoat it. She'll tell you how it is. And of course, it makes you more human and more relatable. And as usual, our assignment is to share a personal story, that shows you in your vulnerable state. Not sad story, please, not story full of tears, just to show that you have challenges at some point that you overcame, and then we'll see how that goes. Please don't forget to share your experience with me, and I'll see you in day 6.